What's going on, guys? I am here at an undisclosed location in the country of Clovis, out in the country, in Clovis, New Mexico. I wanted to tell y'all about a story that is an awkward, weird part of my life, and uh, we were. It's hard to say even in, because in one of them it's just a flash by, and one of them it's the making of. So we were there when they were making Hell or Highwater and Independence Day 2 Resurgence. And so I want to tell the story because I used to tell it all the time, but now it seems like, I don't know, farther down, no one gives a shit about it anymore because literally I was in the making of one of them, and then the other one, I haven't even seen myself. I can see the car that I was in and shooting it from, but I can't see myself. So I wanted to tell the story of Hell or High Water, and then the second part of this will be the whole Independence Day, what was going on in my life, the craziness that happened in between these two movies, and just all that all in together. I wish I would have some dates, but I don't, other than a family member passing away that you'll hear about, and I'm trying to think what else. Maybe I can find out because I got dates of when this concert was. That actually I should write on that part. I need to tell about the concert. Alright. So, starting off, first I was working as a handyman with my friend at the time. Now he's dipshit Addison. We were working, I think, in Portales, and we'd heard on the radio that they were going to be doing Hell or High Water in our small town. So I was just like, well, we should, at that time it was called Comancheria. So it sounded like a really stupid name for the movie, and they didn't change the movie until after they got done filming it. So they were talking about this movie Comancheria. They said that it was going to be filming in Clovis and Portales, and for some reason, I told my friends, I think we should go and just go stand in the casting line, see what it's like, see if if the cuckoos are going to come out in Clovis, because we live in a small town, and more to tell on that weird stuff as we go on. So we seen it in the paper, and we heard it on the news that day as we were driving down to Portales, and he was actually into it. He was just like, we should really go. And I just thought it'd be super cool, so I was like, yeah, whatever. It's a Saturday, we're not working, because I was working with him. We were just doing pretty much the lowest of whatever you could fucking do, working just like 4 or 5 hours a day, and him being like, it's too hot, we can't work anymore. So it was kind of bummer, because I like money. And everybody says that. Everybody likes money. So, it was a Saturday again. And we showed up like, this dude would always be early if it was something for him. And if it wasn't for him, he'd take his time. So, we showed up early for this one. And the line is already 150 people out the door. And I was like, damn. And this is I think it's the Chamber of Commerce. It's on Main Street and Grand, one of those streets out that way. And so the line is all the way down this guy, and I was just like, there's no way. It's hot outside. So we pull up, and Colin is at the very last person in line, Colin being my friend Ryan's stepson and Kelly's son. And he's there with his grandpa. And so we're sitting there, and we're just, the whole line, they're like, we're gonna be movie stars. And I was like, oh shit, this is getting old. And my friend smoked 600 fucking cigarettes waiting in line. This fool would light up one, put it out, light up another one. And so we're sitting in there blistering hot. I hate cigarettes. That's just sitting right next to us. Everybody thinking they're going to be movie stars next week. And the movie was still like 2 or 3 weeks away from even being filmed at the time. So we go in, and me and him are right next to each other. And what's the even odds of you getting chosen out of all these people, 2 people that were right next to each other? So we go and they take our picture, and they told you wear this, and I had my hair however they said the people needed to be in the thing, and so we go up, they take our picture, they ask you like 4 or 5 questions, have you fill out this thing, and saying, whatever, I will be in this movie, and we'll just pay you. They've actually paid like $10 an hour, so it wasn't bad for what you were doing. So once we filled all that out, we go home, we didn't go home. We got dropped off, I believe. I don't know why. We went to Bullet Bob's afterwards and just looked around. And then so a week or so later, I don't know if it was him or me, first got a phone call, and they said that, we're doing for this movie and we'd like you to be, I don't even remember what they said. They said at one point a bank was going to be robbed and you're going to be one of the people shooting at the people as they're robbing the bank. So I was like, that's, I've never shot a gun out in the streets. I'd only shot it one time with some dudes at the cheese plant, so I was just like, that's cool. And so they said, show up in these style of clothes, it's normal stuff, no Nike, no nothing, no paraphernalia names, just, plain Jane, red t-shirt, pants. And so, hold on, I gotta get it done. Oh, she made it. So we went to Goodwill and got plain Jane clothes, spent $30, which I shouldn't even done because you'll find out farther in the story. So I spent some money on it. I didn't even have the money to be spending some things on it. And they told you don't spend money on clothes, but I had nothing that they would, everything had something on it. I don't have just a plain red t-shirt or a plain whatever. And so once we got all that stuff, the next night, or that night, I didn't sleep at all. I was, not very many people get to see, and I act like it was a big thing, but not very many people know what it's like to be on a movie set. Like, none of my other friends have ever been on anything like that. And there's been another movie that was shot in Clovis, I'd say 14, 15 years ago, and it was about some basketball thing. So I didn't get no sleep that night, and worrying about what was going to go down, if I even got the right clothes. And so I show up, and you're supposed to park in where this bank is, and they would transfer you over there. So they had multiple buses coming back and forth, and I didn't know that. And so the guy honked at me thinking, if you want to get on this bus, you better go. So I thought I was going to be late, so I was hauling ass. And I hate when people take up 2 parking spots, and my truck was like literally on the line of this parking spot, and I was just like, fuck, these people are, telling me if you want to come now, you better hurry. So I was just like, damn it. So I parked my car super close, so all day I was worrying. I was like, fuck, I hope someone don't hit my car or my truck. And so I was sitting there worried. So we get in this bus, and nobody's talking. This bus got 20 people on it, and no one says a word. You could hear a pin drop. A few days beforehand, everybody's like, oh, we're going to be movie stars, and now it's dead silence. And so, even more awkward, I don't know none of these people. I've been out of Clovis not long, but still enough that, I don't know, I guess none of these people knew me, because it was super awkward. So I show up, and you had to sign in, and then they told you, go get some food, and then we'll call you in by your part. We'll call you in to the dressing room. So I go, and every food you could even think of, they have. They have every breakfast cereal, every, eggs, bacon, sausage, as much as you want. Just, eat up. And so it was weird because we live, and they're doing it, and, it's not a bad neighborhood, but it's a little sketchy neighborhood. And, people are walking down the street and just walking up to it, acting like, hey, I'm supposed to be here, and getting, free food. So, I don't know if these are crackheads or these are people that are about to be, shot in this movie with me. So I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of scared. I just got like the bare minimum. I'm not really a breakfast person, so I got like just the bare minimum enough to eat, so I wasn't starving that day. And I go in there, and this guy that I worked with, Marty from SNS, was there, and he said he was, I'm going to be a banker in the thing, and I never even saw him in the movie after I'd seen it. Dude's a super weird guy. So it was like awkward. I was just, wondering, which other people am I going to hang out with all day? Because everybody talks about the movies being a whole bunch of hurry up and wait, and it's fucking that. It is like pretty much hurry up, wait, and wait, and then we'll put you in spot. Then you can wait again. We'll put you in more makeup, and then you'll do your shit. So it takes a lot of boring stuff. So going on to where it was, they called me, finally after a while, they called me into the dressing part. I showed them what I had from Goodwill. They had a whole semi just full of clothes. Just full of random clothes. I don't know what they planned for, but it was just Western style clothes, I guess you could say. And they said, well, that t-shirt's good, and that pair of pants that you're wearing. Not even the pair of pants that I went and bought at Goodwill. So, that was cool. At least I got to wear that. And then, so you go, I'm making sure I'm getting everything on this thing. So, you go into these dressing rooms, and it's pretty much a bathroom and then a mirror, like what you would think you would see in a dressing room. Like just a desk and a chair and a whole bunch of lights to brighten it up really bad. What sucks was the bathroom was right there, and there was another bathroom, so people were coming into there, stinking it up, leaving, and then you got to get dressed in there. So everybody took their morning dews, and it stunk. It was terrible. I put my t-shirt over my face, changed as fast as I could, and got out of there. So at this point, they walk us, I'd say, maybe a street and a half away from where we were, and we go to the side of this bank. And they got some tents set up, and every so often you hear, of them doing an explosion or supposed to be gunshots in the thing, and you're wondering what's going on, because they're in this bank and they're doing all these shots, and they'll be like, we need people from this group to come up, and then we need the people from this group to come up, and then you're like, oh, when's my part going? So my part wasn't even until like before lunch and after lunch. So it was a whole bunch of hurry up and wait. So I went off and I smoked. And sure enough, here comes a police officer just coming right around the corner as this was getting put out. So I was sitting there scared, and this guy's sitting, just a few feet away from us, and he's pretty much there to keep the crackheads that were walking in and out of the movie set part away from them. So even, I would say 3 house lengths away, there is a child care services, and their kids are out there like nothing while these people are filming a movie shooting fake guns, which I thought they would, kids would be scared because, people are shooting guns out there. That's probably not the best thing to do around kids, so I thought that was pretty weird. The movie stars that we've seen that day, I should have looked this up before I started it, but the 2 main guys were running out in and out of the bank, and we just see them for a few minutes, and then they go in where it's air conditioning. And then when they went to go do the front part of when they're driving away out of this bank, they were out there a lot more, but then they told us all about the gun safety. They wanted to make sure anything that you had touched, it went back in its spot. They had handlers there that stood there and made sure, you weren't sitting there playing with your gun or shooting it off in the air. And it was just weird because these people are probably getting paid to pretty much babysit you. And I was just sitting next to a car, and they would literally be on a walkie-talkie and be like, does your person need another soda, and I'd be like, well, bring me a soda and, some chips. And 10 minutes later, they would just have a whole bunch of crap that, whatever you wanted. And a lot of movie sets, for some reason, they give you gum too. A lot of the not a lot. The two that I was on, there was always gum around, I guess, to keep people's breath fresh or something like that. So when we take lunch, they come up and they're like, you have a choice of this or lamb. And I was like, well, I've never had lamb. I think that would be interesting. I should have some lamb. So I had marked on my card I wanted this and I wanted this soda. So they brought that part to you, and it was pretty much looked like, I don't think y'all know what it is, but Shogun when it was wrapped up in plastic and everything. So it was legit. Like looked like it was made by someone that knew what the hell they were doing. And so I was curious, and so I ate the lamb, and it tasted pretty funky. They had a whole bunch of stuff on there that I was just like, should I try this? It was like, it pretty much, the lamb made my tummy hurt. I got a weird tummy, so anyways, it just made it, not feel good. And then I got to sit there and then listen to all these people. So finally it comes up to our scene. And so the dudes are driving away, and they called the cue for all three of us in a row to start shooting after one. So this guy was pulling out. The first guy shoots, the second guy shoots, the third guy shoots. You can't see none of us in the movie. All you see is just the truck driving by. I don't even remember, to tell you the truth, if you even hear the guns. It's a cool movie, but I was kind of Debbie Downer on it after seeing it and then not being in it. But, you wasted that whole day of your life, you'd hope they'd use just a 0.2 second of it or something like that. But it was still fun. Later on in the day, they took us to the other side where the sun wasn't beaming on us, and we sat there and watched them do scenes in the bank that, it was to the camera's backside, so we couldn't, they couldn't see us. But we were watching how they did all the stuff, and it was pretty cool, movie magic, I guess you could say. It made the bank look like it was a huge place when it was pretty much a rundown bank of Clovis. I'm trying to remember. We always park there. It's on 10th Street. It's in 10th and Pyle, I believe. So, we're on the side, we're watching them make the movie, and then the two dudes come out, and they're doing the rest of their scenes, and they're in, like, the fucking ski masks. So, Lord knows how hot it was out there, because it was the summer, so it had to have been hot, some ski masks. So, at the end, they had a big thing. They were making sure gun safety was huge, and so they were giving a whole bunch of, before and after, they were making sure, make sure the guns are safe, make sure you put away. And I still have the little bullet shells from the blanks that I shot. I saved those, so I thought that was cool. And then, so they just gave you a big spew about guns again. And even when you put them up, I'm like, why are you giving me a 10-minute thing about guns when... Sorry. We live out where people shouldn't be driving, and you hear random stuff, and you wonder what's up.